All right, let's start with Purdue, Illinois. I think, right? We'll get to Auburn in a second.
That's what we just.
I want to talk about Purdue, Illinois, because that was a game that just ended. Purdue wins by 16 in Mackey Arena. Jaden Ivey, 22 second half points, I believe. And I said at the top that I still think Illinois is the best team for the Big Ten to win a net. Like Purdue is clearly the best team in the Big Ten. I think you have to go with that after tonight. Like I think you can't make an argument that Illinois is better than Purdue when Purdue has swept them and looked better than them. But I still can't.
But what did Andy Katz tell us once upon a time? Bad matchups exist.
Bad matchup,
and I think Purdue is the only team in the country that's a bad matchup for Illinois.
Yeah, they really are, because Illinois, if you were to
granted they're in their conference and they have to play them twice,
maybe 3 times, maybe 4 times for all we know. If you were to boil down Illinois' identity into bullet points, you would say they have a massive human being that is skilled down low. His name is Kofi Coburn.
National Player of the Year candidate.
Yes, and they have surrounded this massive human being with, by and large, great shooting, guys who can knock down shots from the perimeter, and also some playmakers like
Plummer. Playmakers.
Playmakers. Trent Frazier, Andre Curbelo, whatever. That's pretty much the identity. That's the nuts and bolts of what their identity is. Big dude, shooters, couple playmakers. Purdue is the exact same thing, but better. It is an even bigger guy. You have a big guy, we have a bigger guy. You have shooters, we have better shooters. You have a playmaker, we have Jaden Ivey. And that's why they're a terrible matchup for Illinois. But I still think Illinois, by virtue of actually playing, they didn't play much defense tonight. Purdue and Mackey Arena is hard to guard. But no, I think moving forward, I still get worried about Purdue because we've talked about it a million times, the one and done nature of the NCAA tournament. Is Purdue. Can Purdue get enough stops when they need to? What happens when they're not making shots? All that stuff. But when it comes to Illinois, Purdue is basically Illinois, but better. It's very weird. These scenarios can only happen in college basketball. I can't think of other sports where this is the case, where it's I don't know, football sometimes, isn't the NFC West weird like that? There's the Rams always beat I guess the Rams just beat
That's just usually how.
I don't know, but there's always matchups, and that's how I feel about this. It's Illinois would lose if they play Purdue again. Purdue's going to beat them again.
To put it in internet terms for the kids at home, it's the Spider-Man meme, except for Illinois is Andrew Garfield and Purdue is Tom Holland. You know what I mean? They're pointing at each other. They're basically the same thing, but one of them is just a little bit better than the other one.
Michigan State is Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 3. Michigan State is emo Spider-Man.
Yeah. They've given up on the series altogether. They're done with everything. But that's how it feels.
Technically Spider-Man, but it's
when they play each other, you can see that Kofi is obviously bothered by the size of Edey, but there's only one man in college basketball that is going to give him those fits, and it is Zach.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think
Christian Coloco also
maybe,
but no. We've been on this for a while. That when Kofi Coburn meets massive,
he's a bully,
massive dude. Yeah, he's a bully. He can beat the hell out of the guys that are smaller than him. He meets a guy that's his size. It doesn't go as well. But Purdue, this was a big win for Purdue. I think obviously
Robbie Hummel on the call. Shout out to Robbie.
Yeah.
That was fun.
He didn't curse Purdue this time.
No,
hasn't he been? He did the Rutgers game, and then he did the NC State game, right, when they almost lost to NC State, and it looked for a while there. It was touch and go as to whether Robbie was a Purdue curse.
And it's a lot of pressure. I even said this to you before the game started. I was for Robbie to go into that building, obviously as much as he is being the commentator, there is the fan and the love and all that for Purdue basketball right there in front of you. And you don't want to be the voice of the letdown. So this was nice. I feel like everyone got to celebrate. Good night for the bathrooms in Mackey. And it was pretty much a non-eventful blowout for the most part. Trent Frazier going down with what looked like a bad injury was the big drama moment of this game. Luckily he's okay, came back and played. So
he got the Jalen Suggs. Yeah. Jalen Suggs against West Virginia, Trent Frazier got that treatment. Whatever it is that
in the moment it was over.
The moment you saw Trent Frazier go down, I was like, oh God.
Start playing the highlights from earlier in the season. Yeah.
There goes Trent Frazier's entire career. He's not going to play professionally.
He was back in a minute, thank God. Thank God.
Do you remember that with Suggs?
No, I remember it was yesterday.
I started crying, I think.
No, I think both of us. We had tears in our eyes. And Sarah McLaughlin started singing in the background. Crazy.
And then Jalen Suggs comes back against West Virginia. So that's it. That's basically. I don't think really we had planned on doing the live show to do a reaction to this game. There's not much to react. That's pretty much it. It's Purdue is better than Illinois. The Big Ten standings are this, Tate. Purdue, Illinois, and Wisconsin. Wisconsin wins in East Lansing tonight. wire to wire leads the game. That never trails in the Breslin Center. So now you're left at the top of the Big Ten looks like this. Purdue, Illinois, and Wisconsin are all 10-3. Ohio State is 7-3. Tate. Interesting. Ohio State has the exact same number of losses as the teams at the top. They played 3 fewer games because every game gets canceled, and for Ohio State, every single one. And then Michigan State is now 8-4. So the Big Ten race, Purdue dropped a couple early. They lose at IU. They lose at Rutgers.
Nebraska still defeated in the Big Ten. Has not won a game.
Yes. Fred, I heard someone refer to Fred Hoiberg as Fred Iceberg because he sinks your program or something like that. And I was like, I don't know if that's funny or not, but
I like where I like your head.
We can work with that.
That's a good start.
But Purdue looked for a second there when they lost at IU, especially. And my dad came on the show and was cackling and all that. It looked like could it be that Purdue was not going to win the Big Ten? Is Purdue does the Big Ten title not go through West Lafayette? As it turns out, I think it does. I think Purdue is the best team. I think Purdue is the rightful best or favorite in the Big Ten. We'll say. Do
you think this helped Ivy be the Big Ten Player of the Year over Kofi Cockburn? Because this has been a year of attacking overrated chants. A lot of people in the media and even the commentators now are pointing out the overrated chants are wrong. Kofi Cockburn goes to the free throw line. All the Purdue fans start chanting overrated. And granted, they're the 13 team, you're the 3 team. So in that sense,
you thought they weren't talking about.
I don't think it was about
team. They were talking about
Kofi Cockburn, which is to say they think Jaden Ivey could be the Big Ten Player of the Year.
Johnny Davis is still up there. I mean, he balled out.
At one time, we said he was the National Player of the Year.
Don't count out Johnny Davis. I think Johnny Davis is first.
So those 3 right now, right? Or that's where the race is.
I mean, Johnny Davis. And
EJ Liddell, I guess, is in there.
Dude, EJ Liddell is been awesome as well, and it's like I try not to get I understand that most people listening don't really need me to go nuts about Ohio State more than I already do, but so I'm trying to hold back a little bit, but EJ Liddell has done nothing wrong.
No, he's still in the conversation.
Was awesome, and
so
then
those 4 guys,
games are getting canceled left and right for Ohio State, for weather, for COVID, for God knows what else. And nothing has really changed with how good EJ Liddell is, but
the other teams keep playing.
Gone.
So it's recency bias.
He's completely out of the conversation, but no, you're right. It is one of those 4 guys. I don't know. It's certainly more of a conversation now after tonight. I think I know Illinois fans will point to stats that Cockburn over the course of the Big Ten season he's done this and that, but I know what my eyes have told me. And the 2 times he's played Purdue, he's disappeared, and he's been ineffective. So I don't know what.
But on Sunday, you could have made the conversation or made the argument that Kofi Cockburn was the National Player of the Year.
Yeah, right.
So that's how quickly things can turn. You know what I mean? It goes from 2 days ago, he's a National Player of the Year. I think he's jumped Oscar Tshiebwe, and now this game happens at Purdue, which.
I will say though,
is expected, but it's changed that much.
This is more fun though than a year when Zion just explodes on the scene, and then he's the obvious National Player of the Year the entire season.
And we have nothing to talk about.
There's nothing else to talk about. Yeah. It's been more fun that every single time a guy's a good game, we're like, is this guy National Player of the Year?
Literally, this guy do something the first time, put him up on the board.
Hey there, thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.